towards our goal of uploading and streaming more regularly here on the TheMediaHoundsShow. Pokedex number 007. Squirtle is the tiny turtle Pokemon, standing at about 0.5 meters or about 1 foot 8 inches, and weighing in at the not so massive 9 kg, or in reality about the weight of an average breed standard sausage dog, or that kind, depending what you want to call it, like literally. To be honest, Squirtle is probably the most versatile out of the original 3 Kanto Pokemon starters, probably due to its typing and the moves that it actually gets access to, both for level up and TMs. Being a pure water type, Squirtle only really has 2 weaknesses, grass and electric, which do only 2 times super effective damage. And ultimately, because it's a water type, there is 3 types of Pokemon we really need to plan around a little bit more carefully, them being Dragon, Grass, and Water, which resist water attacks, and the rest of the Pokemon will just take neutral damage from us. Not that these weaknesses, resistances, or neutral damage will play a major factor in most battles due to Squirtle's rather diverse move pool. Squirtle can only learn water and normal type attacks through natural level up, but when you put TMs into the picture, it opens up the floodgates to other types of attacks, such as ice, fighting, ground, psychic, poison. There are many moves that we could choose from. I already have a final moveset in mind for Squirtle. We'll probably reach that moveset around level 48. The final moveset I've kind of got in mind at the minute, it may change, I'm kind of working on the script as I'm going, is Surf, Mimic, Ice Beam, and Dig, but we'll ultimately see how I do. So let's talk about base stats. Squirtle's base stats are pretty okay for a first stage Pokemon. It has 44 HP, 48 in attack, 65 in defense, 50 in special, and 43 in speed, totaling out about 250 base stat total. Please remember, special defense doesn't exist in this generation, so it has no bearing on any battles. It's the special stat that will influence special damage resistance as well as output. Basically all this just means is that we have a pretty okay special tank who can deal pretty decent damage across the board, and I think we'll probably focus more on the special end of Squirtle's attack power rather than its physical. Now to go over the rules to this challenge, because there are several rules we'll be adhering to in order to ensure a fun, fair challenge and experience for all. These rules now will be shown on screen, hopefully in a readable text, but I will be reading them out here, at least for the Squirtle video being the first one. I don't know if I'll keep this up in every video, but we'll see. So first rule of the challenge, only Squirtle will be used in the battle for this run of Pokemon Blue. Although in this run we will be capturing Spearow to trade in Vermilion City for Ducks the Farfetch. We will be catching a Paris, and we will be receiving the Lapras as a gift Pokemon. This covers us for all 5 main HMs we'll need to get through the entirety of the game. Paris gives us access to Flash. I'm nearly sure it gets Flash, Cut. Farfetch gets Fly and Cut, and Lapras gets Strength and Surf, and we will generally need them. I probably won't be going out of my way for Flash, but it's nice to have that option. The second rule of the challenge, a set travel path and order has already been predetermined for all Pokemon. They'll all be sharing the same route and fighting in the same order every battle. This is to make it fair so that no Pokemon has an unfair advantage to outpace a different Pokemon. I know speedrunners have their own way of that they like to take, where they cut out and do spits or some battles before others, but we will be following a predetermined set path. If you need more information, ask me about it in the comments. The third rule is simply no items or healing will be used or done in battle outside of Pokeballs to capture the specific Pokemon as predetermined and already stated in Rule 1. The fourth rule is quite simply the missing no glitch can not be used for any other items except for to duplicate ethers, max ethers, elixirs, max elixirs, and only them items to make sure that each Pokemon gets a fair shot at the Elite Four and Champion members. I will not be touching the missing no glitch throughout the entirety of the run, except for when I'm about to enter the Elite Four, so that we just don't run out of power points. And now the fifth rule is no advantageous glitches can be triggered in order to make a run simpler for one Pokemon. Otherwise it will make it unfair and defeat the purpose of these challenges, and it will affect the overall accuracy of the statistics we'll be tracking at the end of each run. And finally, rule 6, all data will be collected at the end of every run and filled into a spreadsheet similar to J-Rose 11's. For every Pokemon on every generation for every run we do. This means we'll eventually have a load of different graphs and information to help us visualize the data we've collected from challenging all these solo runs. This data will also be compared to basically Pokemon performances with other Pokemon, and maybe we can use that data later on for future videos that will be coming out along. And with that said, Faithful Viewer, the next part to these challenge videos is where I humbly challenge you to take on the same challenge with the same rule sets. And if you think you can beat my time, or you can beat my Pokemon's level that you do it at, or you have a better move set, or you just want to show off what you can do, whether you win or lose, come to the Discord, links in the description. You can submit your own attempts, or you can link to videos of attempts, etc. We do have a Hall of Fame section for people that complete these challenges. And on that bombshell of a note, I think we should really get a move on and find out how I did with my Squirtle only speedrun challenge in Generation 1 Pokemon Blue. How do you think Squirtle will fare? What's your opinions of Squirtle as a Pokemon? Why don't you let me know in the comments below, and let's get a move on with this thing. So we begin our journey, as many do in Pokemon Blue in Generation 1, by heading north to Route 1, where we are stopped by Professor Oak. The local Pokemon professor, he gives us a bit of a chin wagging about trying to go out in knee-high grass without our own Pokemon. Although, to be fair, that kind of makes sense considering the Pokemon world is literally a world filled to the brim with superpowered aliens, animals, and all kinds of monsters, but I think we're digressing a little here. We enter Professor Oak's laboratory, where we learn that our rival is already there and waiting for us to show up so he can get his first Pokemon and we can get our first Pokemon. Obviously he's been waiting for us so he can pick the better Pokemon, but who cares? Our Pokemon will always be number 1. Obviously for this run I am picking Squirtle, but for future runs on the channel, feel free to drop a comment below or head over to the Discord, as I've said a few times, and drop a answer the voting posts that I post there every so often about these runs. And to name the Squirtle, I went with Bubbles, because clearly I'm a very creative person, and okay, the name sucks, but I couldn't come up with anything at that point, because I'm saving some of my better nicknames for different Pokemon. In the Discord we do have a forum for nicknames, and in future feel free to suggest them in the comments when you suggest the Pokemon, or suggest them in my Discord, and you might see them in the next run. So once we have our starter Pokemon, our rivals, Hounds, with a Z, because again, proving how creative I truly am by myself, challenges us to our first ever Pokemon battle. Now, in Generation 1, Red, Blue, Green, the rival will always select the Pokemon that has the type advantage over our Pokemon, which is kind of the case usually in future gens, but not all of them. So in this case, he's actually selected Bulbasaur. Now, he might have the type advantage purely on Pokemon type alone, but let's be honest here, both Pokemon are relatively young and actually don't have any type of elemental moves or resistances to each other. But yeah, this fight's not really much of a fight. I started off battle using a couple of tail whip attacks to lower Bulbasaur's kind of beefy defense stat at this stage. In doing so, I took 2 tackle attacks, only losing 6 HP, so it's fine. Then tail whips were to ensure that when our Squirtle hits the Bulbasaur, that we would actually hit it hard enough to teach it to fear our Squirtle. Because soon, our Squirtle will be the most powerful Squirtle to ever Squirtle in all of Gen 1 Kanto. Route 1 is rather uneventful. This is probably going to become a rather common statement. I'll be making it for at least 90% of these Pokemon Challenge Run videos. There's not many Pokemon that struggle with Route 1. We get to Cerulean City and we go to the Pokemon Mart, where we receive Professor Oak's parcel from one of his biggest fans, clearly. Sure dude, we'll say hello for you. We start heading back to Palatine to drop it off so we can progress further with the game, and the biggest event to happen in Route 1 is we've reached level 7. Giving Professor Oak the parcel we got in Cerulean City nets us his newest invention, the Pokédex. A bit of random anime trivia. In the anime itself, the Pokédex is actually created by a different professor in the Kanto region called Westwood V5. You could probably fact check that for me. I'm not 100% sure. Let me know in the comments. I just remember that weird trivia point. Our rival then taunts us about telling his sister not to give us the time map. But good sir, in fact, we will not be needing that time map, as I've been playing these games ever since they've come out, and I know them like the back of my hands. So the goal now is to level up Squirtle a bit, so we can prepare for the next rival fight. This rival fight is usually known as Rival 1B to a lot of players, especially the speedrunners out there. Technically this is an optional fight, and a lot of speedrunners would cut it out along with other fights I will be doing in these video challenges. But I want to take this challenge on from the perspective of a new player, so I will be taking on all the in-game important battles, even if they are optional, including legendary battles. During the grinding section, we learn the bubble attack, which will be our Squirtle's main stab attack for the next bit until it learns Water Gun or we get Bubble Beam, whatever happens first. Stab basically is same type attack bonus, and it multiplies our output damage by like 1.5 or something. I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah, basically it powers up the attack. After reaching level 9, I think we're ready to attempt battling our rival, Rival 1B. With a quick save done beforehand, we step forward to challenge him. Our rival starts out this battle with his level 9 Pidgey, a speedy early game normal flying type Pokemon. At this level, he really does love to abuse Sand Attack, which is learned at level 5 for Pidgey, so at level 9 it has full access to it. This attack lowers our accuracy by 1 stage, making it really hard for us to land hits. So the battle strategy I was going into this fight with was if I could land a few bubbles and get off the 10% chance of lowering the opposing Pokemon's speed, I might be able to take down Pidgey before it gets too many Sand Attacks set up. But after what seemed like 5 or more failed attempts at level 9, I still refused to level up anymore, as I believe that it's slim but possible, so instead I switched strategy. So instead of just using Bubble, I just tackled the ever-loving life out of the Pidgey. As playing around with stat changes that only have a 10% chance of happening was giving it way too many chances to lower my accuracy. When it came to Bulbasaur, I spent a couple of turns setting up tail whips to lower its defense so we can inflict more damage so that we wouldn't have to hit it as often, because I don't think status moves require so much accuracy. We did manage to beat out Leech Seed, but I must admit that Gen 1 256 glitch helped us edge the battle in the end up. I must admit though, I feel like if we had have approached this fight at level 11, we probably would have been able to take out the Pidgey much faster and more consistently, and not taking as many Sand Attacks to the face. Either way, we still defeated rival number 2, or 1B, whatever you want to call it, at level 9.
Moving on from this, we headed into the Viridian Forest where we grabbed the hidden items and squished many of the Bugcatcher's Pokemon. When we finally made it out of the Viridian Forest, we made our way to the Pokemon Center of Pewter City, the City of Stone, or at least that is according to Flint, Brock's valor in the anime. So upon entering the gym, we take on the gym trainer. He has a Sandshrew and Diglett, both ground-type Pokemon, not actually rock types, whatever. But they couldn't handle the bubble party that our Squirtle had brought, and they both went down very quickly. We also learned from this trainer that light years is a measurement of distance and not time. But using that logic, we could attempt to work out how far Brock was away from us in distance, using estimates of course. The player Pokemon trainer is roughly around 5 foot tall, or we'll use that as a rough estimate, rounding it up to keep it simple, you know. Brock is exactly 6 in-game tiles away from us. Our sprites fill each tile, so assuming each tile is about as long as we are tall, that means that 5 times by the 6 is about 30 feet away from Brock. We'll even be generous and do 2 extra calculations as well, just to be sure we're, making a fair assumption here. We'll take it at face value that 6 tiles is 6 feet. We'll do the 30 feet that I calculated using the trainer, sprite, player heights, and the tiles as distance. And we'll also do one where we double that distance, so we have one calculation working out 6 feet, one calculation working out 30 feet, and one calculation working out 60 feet. Hopefully while I'm doing this, you don't notice this is all just to distract you from the fact I forgot to heal my Pokemon and my Pokemon's power points from Viridian Forest before I took on both the Gym Trainer and Brock. So entering this fight at level 13, Brock starts off with his level 12 Geodude. You would think that one bubble from Squirtle would be enough to take down Geodude even at this level, but surprisingly it doesn't. But it's not really like Geodude can hurt our Squirtle. Our defenses are high enough to tank a few tackles, and Defense Curl isn't going to help them from our special attacks. A second bubble quickly takes down the Floating Boulder. Next up we have Brock's Rock Gyarados. It's at level 14. It's speedy, physically defensive, and a popular fan favorite from Gen 1ers, because it just looks so goddamn cool. But it is literally a 28 foot tall rock snake. So cool. But unfortunately though, for Brock, Onyx kinda is terrible at attacking as well as terrible at special type defense. For something that looks so goddamn cool. But it goes down with 2 bubbles, as did Geodude, and we level up all the way to level 15 and actually learn Water Gun. We earned the Boulder Badge from Brock, and this means we can use HM05 outside of battle. That's Flash. A HM will probably never get in these runs because it takes a bit of time to get to them. We also get TM34, which is Bite, an attack that stalls for about 2 to 3 turns. You take damage and then return the damage in twofold back to the opponent Pokemon. To be honest, it's going to be handy for future Pokemon runs that have trouble dealing with ghost types due to Gen 1 programming shenanigans. But in this run, it's kind of going to be useless, and we'll probably sell it for a bit extra money later to buy a few extra full restores. Before leaving Pewter City, we make sure to stock up on some Pokeballs so we can catch a couple of necessary Pokemon to progress further in the game with all the HMs. Once we start making tracks towards Mt.Moon, fighting all the unskippable trainers on the route along the way, we reach level 16 during one of the battles, and that introduces the next challenge of the solo Pokemon run. A challenge that will be present in all non-fully evolved Pokemon runs Gen 1. Trying to not get them to evolve every time they frickin' level up. Come on guys, please, stop Bubbles. From here on, I'll be sure to start quick saving on almost every level just to make sure we do not evolve by mistake and I have to redo everything. On the route heading towards Mt.Moon, we encounter a wild Spearow at level 6 and attempt to capture it. The quicker we capture it, the less time it'll impact on our Squirtle run or any other Pokemon runs in future. After that, we'll also encounter Paris, which
In future runs, may also be given Dig if the Pokemon we are running with cannot actually learn Dig itself, as it is a bit more reliable than Teleport. A quick heal in the Pokemon Center beforehand, outside Mt.Moon, and off we go. Mt.Moon is probably one of the easiest dungeons in the Pokemon franchise, and especially in these games. It's small, straightforward enough, and you can get through it rather quickly without having to spend a large amount of time exploring to collect items. In Mt.Moon, we'll make sure to collect TM01, Mega Punch, a high damage dealing normal type move with terrible accuracy. We actually capture a level 10 Paris, and we make sure to collect the Mt.Moon rare candy. In the Pokemon games Red, Blue, Yellow, Green, I think that's all I said, there are about 12 obtainable rare candies in the game, with an additional one being available in the post-game. But in this, we'll probably be attempting to collect as many as possible. After thwarting Team Rocket's plans on Mt.Moon and taking out what seems like an endless horde of Zubat, the natural cave-goers enemy in the Pokemon world, we arrive at what seems like one of the most important decisions that can be made in Generation 1 after choosing your starter. Do we choose the Dome Fossil, or do we choose the almighty Helix Fossil? Ultimately, I'm not really sure which to pick. So this time I'll go with the Dome Fossil, because who doesn't love a bit of anarchy? We make it out of the cave and arrive in Cerulean City, where we heal up Squirtle and try to decide, are we better taking on the rival first, or are we going to actually take on Misty? Ultimately, we choose Misty and her unskippable Goldeen trainer. The Goldeen is Girl-Owens, happens to be one of them really frustrating Pokemon that happens to know Supersonic, but we managed to pull out the win, even though we hit herself in confusion a couple of times. Feeling brave and deciding to go balls to the wall, we decided to take on Misty rather than heal up. This gym battle isn't really as easy as Brock's for Squirtle due to Staryu and Starmie resisting water type attacks, and Misty's AI always wanting to use an X defense on them, making normal type attacks less effective since they're physical in this game. I managed to come up with a simple strategy though to counteract this. Against Staryu, I used 2 Tail Whips in order to lower its defense, and then sock it in the face with a Mega Punch, which first Staryu's its whole body, but whatever. Next came out Misty's real threat, Starmie. Its Bubble Beam attack is super dangerous, as it puts out massive damage and has a 10% chance to lower speed. I repeat the same tactic I used on Staryu, which is 2 Tail Whips followed up by a Mega Punch, but it turns out Starmie's kind of a free shot. Luckily we beat Misty. Thank goodness the AI in Generation 1 isn't very smart and she didn't really use Bubble Beam on us. It was still a tough battle though, and we won only with 9 HP left. With the Cascade badge from Misty, all traded Pokemon level 30 or under will obey us without question. Not that we'll be trading, and we also get TM11 Bubble Beam, and this will be taught to Squirtle. Grabbing a quick heal at the Pokemon Center, we get ourselves ready for the next rival fight. We make sure to grab Cerulean City's hidden rare candy and teach Squirtle Bubble Beam for extra power. The battle against our rival starts out with him sending out his newly evolved Pidgeotto. It's not really a tough Pokemon to beat, but it does have Sand Attack still, and Sand Attack actually can decide how a battle's going to go down if it gets off too many. I knew my best bet against Pidgeotto was to take it out quickly, and right from the get-go we launched Bubble Beam, which ended up being a 2-shot. He didn't really get to use Sand Attack, so the rest of the battle is going to be pretty smooth. Abra comes out next, but its only attacking move is Teleport, so it's kind of useless in trainer battles. Up next is Rattata, a surprisingly tough normal type Pokemon that has access to one of the best learn sets in the whole game. Unfortunately for it and its evolution Raticate, they only tend to do really well early game, mid game, but tend to struggle late game. Rattata goes down to a single Bubble Beam, meaning next up is the rival starter, Bulbasaur, which he hasn't evolved yet, even though it's level 17.
Seriously, what are you doing, dude? Bulbasaur is always going to be one of them trickier foes to take on due to resisting our best attack, Bubble Beam, and being stocky enough to actually take a couple of Mega Punches. We dip back to our Misty strategy, where we Tail Whip it twice and then Mega Punch it to the face. Our Squirtle becomes One Punch Squirtle for a bit. We then continue onwards, stealing the lunch money of a bunch of kids on the Nugget Bridge. After that, we make our way to Bill of the Lighthouse's house. Bill is the creator of the Pokemon PC storage system in Kanto and eventually shares this technology across multiple regions. We find out Bill's dirty little secret and blackmail him into giving us some SS and ship tickets, which is currently docked in Vermilion City. Along the way to the coastal city, we also stop Team Rocket, who have broken in and stolen TM28 Tombstoner. One of the best TM28 Dig. Jeez, what am I talking about? After defeating the Rocket Grunt, we teach Dig to Squirtle. While in Vermilion City, we pinch the bike voucher from the Pokemon Fan Club president while he wasn't looking, after he bored us half to death listening to his random obsession with his Rapidash. Don't anyone tell him about Galarian Rapidash or we'll be here for days. We also decided to trade Spearow away for Farfetch, so that we now have a flyer who can also cut. Welcome to the workforce, buddy. There is no breaks except for the Elite Four. Welcome to the Team Ducks. Now, on to the SSN. There are currently a few trainers on board that we actually need to fight. Only 2 of them, I believe. One of them is blocking the way to TM08 Body Slam, another attack we're putting on our moveset, and the other is blocking our way to a rare candy, which is going to be handy for later, and it is our only chance to actually grab it now. Moving on to the next rival fight, to be honest, not much has really changed between this rival fight and the last one, except for his Rattata, Abra, and Bulbasaur. Jeez, I don't know what happened there. Bulbasaur evolving into their next respective stages. Pidgeotto can still be annoying if it gets to set up too many sand attacks. Raticate and Kadabra are way faster than us and have pretty hard-hitting moves. And then there's Ivysaur. Ivysaur can be a real pain in the ass to fight. Between Leech Seed and Fine Whip, they can do massive damage and drain our HP pretty quickly. And then I forget to heal up my Pokemon because I'm a genius like that. Well, I guess it's not that big of a panic since we're at level 27. And at that level, there's very little that my rival and his Pokemon could do to Squirtle. In this battle, we also learn Withdraw, which we replace Water Gun for. We help the Seasick Captain. He gives us HM01, which we promptly teach to Paris, so that we can access Lt.Surge's gym. We wave our goodbyes to the SSN as it sets sail, not realizing what true danger it's in. But don't worry, we know, we've seen the anime. If you haven't, I believe it's like it's after episode 10, between episode 10 and 20, somewhere in there it happens. Inside the gym, we actually use this image, which I've put up on screen, to help figure out the puzzles so we're not wasting too much time searching through this gym's trash. We never actually pause the run timer here because technically it's part of the game and needs to be done in order to progress, even if it is buggy and very random. Against Lt.Surge, I'm actually worried. My Squirtle doesn't handle shocks very well, and our special is probably not high enough to one-shot or two-shot Raichu. Luckily, Voltorb, Surge's first Pokemon, doesn't actually know any electric moves. It's a problem that Voltorb have to face the world over until after Generation 3, without the intervention of TMs. It does, however, know Sonic Boom, an attack that does 20 points of damage every time it hits exactly. We use Dig. Surge needs to speed up his already super fast Voltorb. Good job AI, Gen 1 doing its thing. After putting Surge's Voltorb into the trash, next up is his Pikachu, Pokemon School poster boy, before Charizard came along and stole the title in the recent generations. Although I don't think it liked that remark as it lands a critical hit on Bubbles with a super effective Thunder Shock. But again, Dig one-shots it like it did Voltorb. Still, Pikachu and Voltorb are lightweights compared to what's coming next. We're worried about Raichu's Thunderbolt because the last two attempts it crit us and Raichu outspeeds us pretty badly. But then, ultimately, the unexpected happened. It used Thunder Shock. Then Surge decided, you know what would also be a good tactic? We'll use an X speed, that'll help. And then we one-shot the Raichu with a Dig. I'll take the convenient win. Thank you very much, Surge. You're the man. Heading into Diglett's Cave, Squirtle uses Dig Attack so we can warp back to Cerulean City. Before we head to Rock Tunnel, I do a bit of spring cleaning in our backpack, deposit Paris into the PC, realizing that we have ducks, we can just give him a cut. And we swap out the bike voucher for the $1 million bike. The route to Rock Tunnel was rather uneventful, yay, but it is a nice break, considering the pressure that Surge and his Raichu put us under. We never got HM Flash, so we'll be going in blind to Rock Tunnel, which is fine. I've played these games so much, I know the layout better than I do any layout in my own town. My biggest worry of Rock Tunnel is the Bomb guy himself, the Geodude and Graveler trainer, as he likes to blow up his own Pokemon. His goal isn't to win, but to delay you, the player, as much as possible. Moving on past him, as Squirtle makes that fight a breeze with Bubble Beam, we exit Rock Tunnel and arrive into Lavender Town. Sometime later, we make it to Cerulean Celadon. I always mix them up. Celadon City, the location of Erika's Grass-type Pokemon gym. It is a gym that will be a thorn in our sides, as grass resists water and is super effective against it. But before we take on the gym, there are a few things we need to do beforehand. First things first, we buy 2 bottles of fresh water, giving one to the little girl in exchange for Ice Beam, my favourite ice-type attack. The other is to go to the local celebrity in the area who tries to blackmail us by giving us HMO2 Fly in order to keep her house's location a secret. Don't worry, we will. Now it's time for one of the most time-consuming parts of the run, the Team Rocket hideout in Celadon City. It's not actually that bad to get around, but the movement panels can get frustrating if you don't know what you're doing. While we're in here, we'll make sure to grab that rare candy. Thank you. We find the grunt that has the lift key and proceed to kick his ass until he gives us the key. We then use the key to take the secret basement lift in the back room down to the bottom floor, where we can have our meeting with the Pokemon mob boss, Giovanni. Firstly, we have to make his bodyguards have an accident and disappear. Giovanni starts out the battle with his Rock Gyarados, but with a couple of Bubble Beams, it's over before it begins for it and Rhyhorn. Literally one of my most favourite Gen 1 Pokemon evolution lines, Rhyhorn. Lastly, Giovanni sends out Kangaskhan, a pretty rare Pokemon. It's a tough and hardy Pokemon at that. We start the battle out by trying to freeze the Kangaskhan with an Ice Beam, and well, crap, that didn't work out. We followed that up with a Body Slam, which only does about a third of the maximum HP in damage to Kangaskhan. Seriously, this thing's taken more hits than most of the Pokemon we've fought up until this point. Luckily for us, the Giovanni AI is so great it locked itself into Rage, one of the lowest damaging moves in the game. Squirtle finishes up the battle with another Ice Beam, and that's that. I think at level 35, Squirtle will mostly be okay against Erika's gym. Before that, though, we pick up the Self Scope and dig our way through what seems to be a lot of concrete and foundational structures that probably weren't all that important to any nearby buildings, right? That's not going to come and bite me in the ass. Digging out of the rocket base takes us the whole way back to Lavender Town, letting us speed up our travel time, which we will be taking advantage of to head into the Ghost Tower to confront our rival. This is a notorious battle that shows us what happens when we let Pokemon battles get out of hand, as we learned from our last battle with the rival. He seems to be down Eradicate. Hopefully we didn't kill it. He leads with Pidgeotto again, which will be one of the most common starts to all his battles. It seems to be his go-to Pokemon. Again, the only thing we really need to worry about is Sand Attack. But this time it's much easier because we have Ice Beam, which is super effective against flying type Pokemon. Next up is the Aqua Onyx, a terrifying, powerful Pokemon when used right. Luckily it's low level, so it's not much of a threat. Dragon Range is kind of concerning because it's a better Sonic Boom, dealing 40 damage always. And actually, funnily enough, is the only dragon type attack in Generation 1. It goes down hard though to 2 body slams after it gets off one more layer. Bubble Beam takes out Growlithe. It was really just a joke here. Next in is his Kadabra, and this psychic Pokemon has learned some new tricks. Yay! We use Dig to take out the Magic Man Pokemon in one hit, and finally the rival starts to get serious and sends out his starter Pokemon, Ivysaur. With Ivysaur out, the rival spends most of the time trying to hit us with Leech Seed, and 2 Ice Beams are enough to finish off the Ivysaur. With our rival defeated, we make our way up the Tower of Death, banishing the ghastly ghosts back down to the Shadow Realm, grabbing the piece of candy lying on the floor. And before making our way to the top of the Ghost Tower to deal with Team Rocket, we are attacked by the spirit of Cubon's dead mother, Marowak, who has apparently not passed on yet. We activate our D-Spell Yu-Gi-Oh card, and it makes its spirit pass on so we can fight a horde of Team Rocket grunts waiting for us at the top of the tower. We save Mr. Fuji to learn that he may be a bigger monster in this world than any of the actual monsters that exist. But he gives us his Poke Flute in exchange for our silence, so we won't just turn him into the police yet. Well played, old man. Well played. After that ordeal, we cut our way through Saffron City to get back to Celadon City so we can finally get our 4th gym badge, the Rainbow Badge. After making our way past Master Roshi at the front door of this gym, we prune our way into the inner sanctum of the garden. Admittedly, Erika is a little intimidating with her grass-type Pokemon, and they can prove problematic to our Squirtle. I'm not fully confident that Ice Beam might be enough to one-shot everything, so that we wouldn't get hit back, but as per usual, trial and error is the best way to get a proper feel for any Pokemon battle. The upside down Banana Jamma comes out, and Ice Beam takes away half its health, and we survive a critical hit Razor Leaf to the shell, and with another Ice Beam we take it out. Tangela is up next. We only have about 6 HP left, so I'm putting all my faith into Squirtle as it uses its Ice Beam, and we got super lucky as it froze the walking spaghetti hedge monster in place, letting us finish it off with our 2nd Ice Beam attack. This left Erika with her last Pokemon, Vileplume, and this was it. Do or die, 6 HP, still standing. Fingers crossed, we fire off our Ice Beam, and yeah, critical hit. We did it. Erika's down. Now that was an eventful battle, and hopefully will be the last major battle for Squirtle to face. Let's not look too far forward, guys. After that, we navigate our way to the Cycling Road entrance from Celadon City, where we awaken the slumbering Snorlax that has been blocking our path this whole time. This battle took forever to get through, but Snorlax couldn't really do a lot to us, and we continued our way through Cycling Road, making sure to grab the hidden rare candy there so that we'd be ready for the next battle. Once we're in Fuchsia City, we get to the Safari Zone and collect the Warden's Golden Teeth. Interesting color choice. And we obtain HMO-free Surf in one swoop. And we teach this to Squirtle right away. And now Squirtle can hang 10 and ride the waves like the best of them. We do need to get the gym badge to use it outside of battle, but that's fine. We're making our way straight away to the gym. So we quickly learn that this gym is filled with big time Naruto and Boruto fanboys, all trying to show off their juggling no jutsus. No, James, I don't want to see your magic
Jeez, go away. So, moving on from that, we continue through these weirdly out-of-place psychic-type Pokemon trainers that are juggling instead of being ninjas in a poison-type ninja gym. We traverse our way around the invisible walls in the game, with a couple of close calls regarding that one compulsory juggler fight. You know the one with the hypno. At level 43, we came back to rematch Koga to see how 2 levels higher would let us fare. Koga opens the battle with a next attack as we body slam and then dig and take out his coughing like last time. Muck is still a 2-shot even with a critical hit. The second coughing is the same as the first, except it manages to poison us, but we have enough HP to sort of live a few more poison turns. Wheezing comes out and immediately blows itself up. No idea what Koga's AI was thinking there, but we live on 8 HP and I will happily take that win. We won purely because Squirtle's defense is amazing. We then fly to Saffron City, where the skyscrapers are tall and the music's pretty. I don't know as of writing this specific paragraph. I am about 3 hours into watching back a 7-hour video that I made of the Squirtle run. I think I might be going crazy. It's only 2:30 in the morning. Arriving at Silphco, we learn that the company has been invaded and taken over by Team Rocket and their mob boss, Giovanni. As any sane-minded 10-year-old would do in this type of situation, we immediately storm the Sylph building in search for answers and to drive out the rockets. We make our way up to floor 5 of the building and acquire the card key necessary to access different areas of this building. We navigate the maze-like building, trying not to throw up on the warp panels as we get traded about floor to floor. We only have about 5 mandatory rocket battles to do in here against the grunts before the rival and Giovanni fight. A quick nap in the lion's den before we take on our rival, who suspiciously is here during a company siege. Unpanicked and cracking jokes about the rocket grunts slowing us down, his Pokemon are also fully healed. Again, Pidgeot's still a 2-shot with Ice Beam. The first Ice Beam throws it solid, so that was lucky. Gyarados is a free hit knockout with our Body Slam attack. Growlithe is taken out with a quick splash of water to the face, and Alakazam tries to hit us with Disable twice as we retaliate with a couple of clutch Body Slams. Finally, the big boss comes out, Venusaur. He's finally fully evolved his Pokemon, and luckily for us, we outspeed it using Ice Beam attack to take it down to the red. It uses Leech Seed instead of Razor Leaf, which guarantees us the win since we already knew we could outspeed it this turn. After the battle, we clearly impress the staff member so much that he gives us his super rare, only one in the game, Lapras. Don't worry, sir, I will make sure it has a good life, serving me well as a HM worker. We then interrupt Giovanni, who's threatening the CEO of Silphco so that he could get access to the Master Ball, the world's best Pokeball that guarantees 100% capture rate. Just don't tell him about the Gen 1 potential to make a Master Ball not capture a Pokemon. I don't think his heart could handle it. We really don't have the full story of events currently unfolding, so we do what any good 10-year-old Pokemon trainer would do and throw a small ass-kicking temper tantrum as we throw our Dacound-sized turtle monster at the mob boss. Giovanni retaliates with his Nidorino, which can not take a single dig attack and goes down in one hit. Next out is his Kangaskhan, which is a pain in the ass to fight, but still a single surf takes it out. And then Rhyhorn comes out and then is immediately withdrawn after we drowned it with surf. Finally out comes Giovanni's Nidoqueen, who manages to live one of our surfs and do a little damage back until our second surf sweeps her out of the building. After winning, Giovanni runs away with his grunts to areas unknown to us at this time, as we decide to put a nice hole in this gentleman's multi-billion-dollar business's floor. That is until we remember we're on the 11th floor of this building and proceed to fall endlessly through 11 floors. until we reawaken and realize that we dug the whole way back to Fuchsia City Pokemon Center. Which, to be fair, was handy for us because I remembered at this stage that I didn't get strength and proceeded to do so and teach it to Lapras. We also got the rare candy in the Safari Warden's house. We then fly to Saffron City, where we make our way to the fighting type Pokemon Dojo. Apparently this was originally the original gym of Saffron City until Sabrina rolled in with her psychic Pokemon and got awarded the position as Saffron City gym leader. We proceeded to flood the dojo since not many fighting type Pokemon swim very well with their low special stats. But we did refuse to take one of their trophy Pokemon as we don't really need either of them. After we take out the fighting type dojo, we do a little bit of item space resource managing at the Pokemon Center before we move on to Sabrina and her army of spin vendors. Sabrina's gym can be tricky to navigate, especially if you don't replay these games as often as I have. In Sabrina's room, we approach her ready for battle, not even healing the damage our Squirtle received from the fighting type dojo. Her Kadabra is up first and wastes its turn going for recover as we one-shot it with Body Slam. Next up is her Mr. Mime. We take it out with 2 Body Slams. Venomoth comes out and is 2-shot with a combination of Dig and Body Slam. Unfortunately, we did get stun spored, so that will influence the rest of the battle. Sabrina's level 43 Alakazam comes out. It struggles to hit Squirtle as it keeps going for its signature attack, Psywave. Psywave is an utterly useless move that does random amount of damage with each usage, making it super unreliable, and I don't really understand why it's the second leader's signature TM. A couple of Body Slams remind Alakazam that Brain doesn't always defeat Brawn as we take our Marsh badge, making badge number 6. We immediately disembark our Pokemon and proceed to buy some max repels to ward off any future encounters so we don't get slowed down by them. And we also make sure to heal up our Pokemon at the local Pokemon Center so we have a quick way to teleport back to with Dig. Nothing of real importance happens in the secret mansion. We find some super suspicious documents incriminating Mr. Fuji and the gym leader Blaine and a couple other people of interest in some sort of cloning and genetic manipulation mess. We also locate 2 rare candies in the secret mansion, one lying about in one of the rooms and the other one hidden near the secret key. It wasn't until I started doing these runs on Twitch that I learned about that hidden rare candy. We dig out of the mansion and heal up our Pokemon, so we can enter, quite possibly, the easiest gym leader we will have to fight in this run. We also grind up EXP from all the all the gym trainers who suspiciously happen to be burglars. Blaine, buddy, you really aren't painting an innocent picture here for yourself. Anyways, upon making it to Blaine, we immediately start our gym battle. He starts out, as he always does, with his Growlithe, the good boy Pokemon, who we reluctantly take out with a single serve. Next up is my little Ponyta, who is a decent enough Pokemon in later generations after 4, due to the special physical split. Apparently it cannot hang 10 with Squirtle, so Blaine moves on to his next Pokemon, Rapidash. Rapidash is obviously faster than our little Squirtle. There's even a Pokédex, there's several Pokédex entries that state it can run up to 150 miles per hour in a straight line. It survives a surf attack, but we follow that up very quickly with a belly flop of a Body Slam. Lastly is Articuno. It unsurprisingly is bulky enough to tank the first surf attack with orange HP left. It tries to take down Squirtle with takedown attack, a bit of a risky play considering takedown's recoil damage and how little HP Articuno has left, but I can respect the power play from Blaine. He is trying to go down fighting. The second surf finishes it off, and we take the Volcano badge as our reward, as well as the TM for Fire Blast, which I am sure will make a nice paperweight, like all the other TMs we've managed to collect along the way that are useless to us.
Or at least they might make a decent coaster for our drinks. We make our way then to Seafoam Island and apply one of the max repels we bought earlier so we can make our way through the cave's labyrinth style layout. It opens the battle with Peck Attack, doing little damage to our tiny turtle Pokemon as we try to use Body Slam to paralyze the bird so we have an easier fight. It takes a couple of goes before we get the paralysis effect, and after it gets paralyzed, it's kind of easily taken down. Arguably, this is the second easiest of the birds for us to fight. We're about to go after the toughest one, as it has a better move pool and only two main weaknesses, Zapdos. To get to Zapdos, we dig out of Seafoam Cave and fly from the island to Cerulean City, where we heal up our Pokemon there first, and then make our way towards Rock Tunnel, surfing past it to get to the old abandoned power plant. As we enter the building, we use another max repel, and we grab the rare candy that's lying on the floor and quickly make our way towards the legendary Bird of Thunder. Zapdos is a scary foe for Squirtle. Drill Peck can do a lot of damage as it's one of the best flying type moves of this generation, and Thundershock, although a lot weaker than Thunderbolt, is super effective and is boosted by Stab with Zapdos, and Zapdos also has great speed, meaning most of its attacks are usually going to be a critical hit. In fact, I'm nearly sure Drill Peck has a higher crit rate. The battle opens out with Zapdos outspeeding us and hitting us with Drill Peck for massive damage. Our plan, on the other hand, is a simple one and the only one we can really bank on: Ice Beam. If we can get off the 10% chance to freeze, avoiding the super effective Thundershock as well as the crits, we might be able to win. Even with the level advantage of freehold levels, it takes 7 field attempts before we get off the freeze and conquer the mighty electric bird. After defeating 2 out of the 3 legendary birds, mostly because we can't access the third one, we fly our way back to Viridian City to learn that the Viridian City gym leader has returned from his hiatus and has taken back his position as the gym leader. We make his way through his gym, noticing that not many of the trainers here seem to follow the type theming of the gym, which isn't a problem, it's just something of note. A quick heal up at Viridian City Pokemon Center and we're good to go. There's to no one's surprise, unless you've never played Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Fire Red, Leaf Green, etc. Giovanni, who is the leader of Team Rocket, also happens to be the gym leader of Viridian City, using his income from this official business to disguise his real ambitions and laundering money for the gym, clearly. This time though, we have a better advantage against Giovanni. He has to stick to the dedicated type that Viridian Gym was set up for, ground type Pokemon. Squirtle's going to have a real field day in this gym. Giovanni starts the battle out with his Rhyhorn, a minor inconvenience for Squirtle as a single surf gives the Rock Rhino a bigger splash than it was expecting. Dugtrio is out next and fails to land a sand attack on us. Squirtle follows this up with another surf, one-shotting the 3-headed mole Pokemon. The Queen is up next and a single surf one-shots her back down. The King comes out after and Giovanni decides to use guard specs on his Nidoking. Squirtle lands a surf that takes out the Nidoking, and finally up last is Giovanni's Rhydon, who also doesn't like the water and goes down to a single super effective surf attack. I also learned that here I am not allowed to use Dig to dig out of a Crime Boss's Pokemon gym, but I can dig out of the top floor of a multi-billion-dollar Pokemon company. Okay, game logic, calm your tits. We make our way after healing out towards the Indigo Plateau, only to be stopped along the way by our rival, who happens to just want to have a pre-league rematch. He again starts out with his Pidgeot, who is now at a whopping level 47, far higher than we'd ever seen it before. Again, like the last time, Pidgeot is a 2-shot with our Ice Beam attack. Next up is Rhyhorn, who is swept away by Surf for the split second it came out to battle. Gyarados is out for blood, the main Pokemon I'm kind of worried about battling.
Judging from the damage we just dealt with it with our Body Slam, it'll take about 5 hits to take down. Luckily we get the paralysis off on the second Body Slam, giving us a 25% chance not to be attacked by Gyarados and its Dragon Rage. Like Rhyhorn, Growlithe is another joke and goes down with one Surf. After that, Alakazam comes out, taking a Body Slam before it finishes us off with its Psychic attack. This was a real wake-up sign, because ultimately if we couldn't get past Alakazam, then Venusaur would be out of the question for us to take on. Using the last of my rare candies that I have at the minute, I used them to get to level 58 and hope that it's enough to take on the rival. First up, Pidgeot comes out and goes down to 2 Ice Beams. Rhyhorn comes out and a single Surf puts it down. Next up comes Gyarados, but we get lucky and land a critical hit Body Slam, paralyzing the Psyonix before Squirtle finishes it off in the following turn with another Body Slam. Growlithe goes down like Rhyhorn to a single Surf. Alakazam comes out and immediately uses Recover before we even hit it for any damage. Alakazam quickly uses Reflect to prolong the fight. This rendered Body Slam not as effective as it once was, but Alakazam's health was so low that the Reflect doesn't really play until the next Body Slam Squirtle did. Lastly, Venusaur came out, and a single Fine Whip or Razor Leaf after fighting the Alakazam with the HP we had left would guarantee Venusaur one-shotting us. We somehow miraculously survive the first Fine Whip attack and fire off an Ice Beam attack, but that doesn't one-shot the Venusaur, and it finishes us off with Razor Leaf. Shit. Okay, maybe we need a different plan. Maybe I'm going about this all wrong. Grabbing a Pokédoll in Celadon City, we head over to Saffron City to trade it for the TM Mimic, which will be key in dismantling the rival's only advantage he has over us. Squirtle's main problem is that it's slow, and if we had Mimic, we could outspeed by copying Pidgeot's agility attack. We immediately return and heal up at Viridian City so that if we lose, we come back to here. First up comes out Pidgeot. We Mimic to steal agility and then take down Pidgeot with 2 Ice Beams. Next up is Rhyhorn, and we start setting up agility since it struggles to hurt us at all. A couple of agilities later and 1 Surf, and we start tearing through everything. Against Gyarados, I figured Ice Beam might be better, especially if we could freeze it. Sadly, however, we didn't get the freeze hacks, but we did take it out with an Ice Beam. The Growlithe just drowns to Surf attack. Alakazam is up next. We outspeed it with the agility speed boost we got for earlier, and go for Dig Attack, taking it out in one shot. Out comes the starter Venusaur. We use Ice Beam, nearly one-hitting the Plant Beast. It misses its Fine Whip attack, which I am fairly sure we could have lived, considering that the badge boost glitch might have activated from the agility attacks. We wipe out the Froggy monster with another Ice Beam attack and make our way to Indigo Plateau's Pearly Gates, showing off the badges we earned along the way to the guards, making sure to pick up the hidden Max Ether along the way. Victory Road is simple enough, and with the Max Repels, we pick up the rare candy we find lying in the corner of a cold, dark cave filled with exploding rock monsters. I make my way around to the static Moltres encounter. Moltres is an interesting encounter out of the free legendary bird Pokemon. It by far has the worst starting level 50 moveset out of the free birds. Fire Spin, a special fire type trapping move, which in Generation 1 is good because it can wreak havoc. Even though it's low output and damage, it stops you from attacking, and Peck, the most basic of basic flying type attacks. After a couple of surfs, the Fire Duct is put out of its misery, and we make our way out of Victory Road and start trying to hatch a plan to take on the Elite Four. We stock up on items like full restores and use the missing no glitch that we talked about earlier to get a bigger supply of ethers and elixirs to allow for a fair Elite Four battle.
We deposit our HM workers who have done an exceptional job of getting us places, and we are ready.
Lorelei's first. She is potentially one of the smartest and toughest members of the Elite Four due to using a combination of Ice, Water, and Psychic Pokemon. Her specialty is Ice. Before entering her chamber and getting locked into the Elite Four, we grind up Squirtle to level 62. Dugong is sent out first against us. It's at level 54 and resists both our Water and Ice attacks, so instead we rely on Dig, with its 100 base power damage in Generation 1. We slowly chip away at the Dugong, who is somewhat unable to hurt us by very much the same reasons we're unable to hurt it, and instead focuses on its efforts on using Rest to try and prolong the battle and using Growl to lower our stats. Cloister's up next, and then Cloister is a defensive wall, meaning that now our attack stats reduced, Dig won't do a whole lot of damage. Realizing there's no point in using Dig, I start using Surf, hoping it might do more damage. It takes about 4 or 5 hits with Surf between confusion hacks before we actually knock out the Cloister. With Slowbro, we were waiting for this Pokemon to come out. We immediately use Mimic to copy Amnesia and start spamming it to get the special and badge boost glitch, because Lapras may overpower us with Blizzard. We have extraordinary little HP left. It's important Slowbro itself just keeps using non-damaging moves on us. Luckily we get the win. Jinx comes out and a single Surf takes the Pokemon out.
Lapras uses Confuse Ray in order to make us take ourselves out. After we land a good Surf attack, outspeeding because of the Amnesia boosts. On its second turn, it again tries to use Confuse Ray, and because we're already confused, nothing happens. If we get lucky and don't hit ourselves in confusion, we'll win this battle. Surf lands, taking out the Plesiosaur monster, or rather quickly. In between battles, we use full restore and a couple of ethers to get our Squirtle ready for the next fight. Unlike Lorelei, Bruno is arguably the weakest member of the Elite Four in Kanto, using a combination of fighting and rock type Pokemon. His specialty is fighting type. Most special attacking Pokemon tend to rack his team with ease. Onyx comes out, a non-fighting type Pokemon, and a single Surf wipes it out. Hitmonchan comes out and lands a Thunder Punch on us before going down to her second Surf attack. Hitmonlee struggles to keep up with Squirtle as it gets one-shot with another Surf attack. The second Onyx comes out and it's the same as the first, going down with a single Surf. Machamp comes out next, roided up. It takes a Surf to the face, but instead of hitting us back, proceeds to focus its energy. Good, it now lowered its chance to land a critical hit on us. The second Surf also doesn't take it out, but then Bruno's big brain AI decision decides to use an X attack, assuming it'll get another turn to try and attack us. Surf proceeds to sweep away the Machamp before it can even do anything. Good work, Bruno. Quickly moving on from that embarrassing mess of a battle that Bruno just performed, maybe he will do better against the next Pokemon we do in the solo run of this game. Nah, it's Bruno. It's fine. Agatha is actually the trickiest Elite Four member to deal with. She specializes in Ghost type Pokemon, but arguably she's a Poison type specialist since there's only one Ghost evolutionary line in this game. Gengar is first up, starting the battle with a Dream Eater, even though Squirtle's wide awake. We proceed to just use Dig and take it out in one shot. Golbat's up next and manages to get off Confuse Ray, making us hit herself in confusion. We snap out of it and get off a lucky freeze on the 5-foot 3-inch tall bat monster, and take it out the following turn with the second Ice Beam. Haunter comes out next, copying the strategy of its Gengar predecessor, but again, Squirtle's not asleep, so it gets taken down by another Dig. Arbok comes out and is swapped right away for Agatha's other Gengar, which is a rare thing to happen, but when she switches in the second Gengar, it gets taken out by the single Dig. Realizing she's out of options, she throws out Arbok again, hoping maybe it can do something to the tiny turtle Pokemon.
It does the very improbable and lives the first dig attack, but can't handle the following tsunami attack that sweeps it away with the rest of the competition. Again, between rounds, we heal up our HP and our PP to be prepared for the next battle against Lance. Let's do this! Lance is the flying type specialist of the Elite Four member. I mean he's the dragon type specialist and potentially the most dangerous out of the Elite Four, as his Pokemon tend to have high powered attacks. Lance opens the battle with his level 58 Gyarados and monstrously launches a Dragon Rage turn 1. Unlike the other Pokemon we fought in the Elite Four so far, not counting Lorelei, Gyarados can actually take a number of attacks from us before we can take it down with an Ice Beam. With Lance's first Dragonair, we mimic the agility attack it has, which once we obtain it, we spam the hell out of as much as we can before we start our Ice Beam Assault on the rest of Lance's flying type Pokemon. The second Dragonair wipes us out due to us not having enough health left, so we go off and grind up to level 67 before coming back to the Elite Four. We do have a couple of remaining rare candies that I've been saving up for the champion battle that I go and collect, so we'll not have to use them just yet. To avoid taking up too much more of your time, we will just skip forward to the Lance fight we win. Gyarados is out first. We use Ice Beam as it outspeeds us with Dragon Rage. We continue to bombard the Water Onyx with more and more Ice Beam attacks as it tries to look at us really meanly. Dragonair comes out, we try to still mimic the agility attack to get the badge boost glitch along with the speed boosts. This worked out pretty well because for some reason Lance decided not to fight back. Dragonair number 2 goes down with a single Ice Beam due to the boosted stats from agility. Aerodactyl has a short run being outsped by the tiny turtle and its Ice Beam attack and goes down in the first hit. And finally, Lance brings out his signature Pokemon, his Dragonite, and it immediately plays dead after a single Ice Beam attack, and now all that's left is for us to take on the champion. To be on the safe side, we use the rest of our rare candies to get Squirtle up to level 69. Nice. This will be the last time we can level up like this, and to be fair, it's probably the best time to use up the rest of our rare candies. And here we are, the second final fight of this entire challenge run. Our rival standing in our way as the champion of the Kanto region, and we're about to observe that throne and title away from him with only a Squirtle. The Squirtle that has seen us the whole way through the entire region, tirelessly fighting every battle, taking no prisoners along the way. I have to say, it's somewhat of a cathartic moment. It's time to get this battle underway. Pidgeot comes out and goes down to 2 Ice Beams as per the status quo so far we've learned. Alakazam's up next, throwing a wrench, or a spoon I guess in this case, into the works. We mimic its Reflect attack in the hopes of getting the badge boost glitch from it. A couple of digs later, and we take out the Alakazam as the last attack we used on it crits. Rhydon's out next, so we use the Reflect attack we stole from Alakazam, as Rhydon really doesn't have a way to knock out our Squirtle. One-hit knockout with Surf as per usual on the Rhydon. Gyarados still remains to be a good counter for our Squirtle and my current moveset. After trading a few Leers from Gyarados with our Ice Beam attacks, we eventually take it down. Arcanine goes down to a single Surf. It did as well against us as it did when it was a Growlithe. After the Arcanine went down, the battle of the starters began. As this will be the final confrontation between these two beefy boys. We outspeed Venusaur with our first Ice Beam. Venusaur tries to retaliate with its own beam attack, Solar Beam, which is a 2-turn attack. This means that technically the AI just threw the battle, as our Squirtle, with the boosts from Reflect and the badge boost, outspeeds the Venusaur, hitting it with another Ice Beam before it can even finish charging its Solar Beam. We did it. We have become the champion, and Professor Oak appears out of nowhere to congratulate us and berate his own grandson, embarrassing him in front of whoever else is watching this tournament. We enter into the Hall of Fame of the Indigo Plateau as the Kanto region's champion. Truly the people's champion. We did this part in 4 hours and 3 minutes. A personal best for a run, for me anyway. But this isn't even the end for us. We have one more battle to take on before we can truly call our Squirtle the best, the very best, like no Squirtle ever was. After the credits finish rolling, or for you lovely people, the people who have supported this channel and our Twitch channel through Patreon and Twitch subscriptions and donations. And if you wish to be listed here with all these lovely people that have supported us so far through the methods that I've mentioned, feel free to follow the links in the description below and join the Discord. And if you feel like it, the Patreon, and you too can appear here in the end of future videos. Continuing on, even after becoming the unchallenged Pokemon Master of the Pokemon League here in Kanto, there seems to be no quenching the battle lust my Squirtle has. He clearly is looking for another challenge to satisfy himself, proving he is the best, before retiring into his channel's Pokemon Solo Challenge Run Hall of Fame. I gotta work on that. We navigate ourselves to Cerulean City for the last time. And with our notoriety, we gain access to apparently the most dangerous cave in all of Kanto. We traverse the maze to find the Pokemon that was written about in the notes in Cinnabar Island's abandoned mansion. You know, the incriminating notes that incriminated Dr. Fuji and the gym leader Blaine. Mewtwo, the artificially created Pokemon, a clone of Mew. We are looking at this beast straight in its eyes, and it's clear to see Squirtle's going to have its work cut out for itself as it takes on Mewtwo. And if you can't tell already, it's like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning as I'm recording the rest of the last bit of the script. So our level 70 Squirtle against the world's most powerful Pokemon, a level 70 Mewtwo. Ultimately, Mewtwo has the ability to one-shot Squirtle with a simple stab psychic attack. My strategy was very simple, as we probably won't be able to outspeed it initially. But if we use a lot of luck and mimic and copy Mewtwo's barrier attack and set it up a few times for the Badge Boost glitch, and then try to rely on Ice Beam's 10% chance of freezing, we should be able to win. Unfortunately, due to the damage Mewtwo can put in us, this plan is harder to pull off than what I initially assumed. A quick save beside the beast and the battle begins. Mewtwo uses Recover for no reason, good work AI, and follows that up with Swift. We mimic its barrier and use it, but 1 second later and Squirtle goes down. Second battle attempt. Mewtwo opens with its psychic attack and takes us down to 35 HP as we go for Mimic. We realize we can't win if we use it, so then we go straight for Ice Beam hoping for the freeze. Spoiler, Mewtwo takes us out immediately. Many battle attempts later and we get a lucky run. Mewtwo opens with Swift and Barrier, constantly spamming the 2 attacks. I realize I'm wasting my time with Mimic at this stage, and it gives Mewtwo too many opportunities to one-shot us with Psychic Attack. So instead we go for Ice Beam in the hopes for the freeze. After the 3rd or 4th Ice Beam, we get lucky and manage to freeze hacks the Mewtwo. With this, the battle's already won. It's just a matter of chipping down its health without accidentally thawing it out. With that, we have defeated Mewtwo, the strongest Pokemon ever according to lore, and completed the entire game within 4 hours and 12 minutes. Simply amazing. The best time I've ever had achieved in these solo runs. Squirtle can now retire in peace, being known as the strongest Squirtle in all of Kanto as per Generation 1. Our Squirtle's stats at the end are at level 70, 184 HP, 117 attack, 131 defense, 100 speed, and 98 special. Our final moveset is Surf, Mimic, Ice Beam, and Dig. I probably could have used Blizzard, but I forgot about it having higher accuracy in Generation 1. Throughout this challenge run attempt, I have been tracking a few different things that I want to use as a way to track which Pokemon is truly the best of the best. and which does better in which region and which generation. And these are questions I really want to answer with this series, more for myself, but this will be a fun way to do so. All the following statistics and information will be popping up on screen to help visualize it. So the first thing I tracked for this run by continuously rewatching the recorded footage was the win, draw, lose rate of our Squirtle, taking the resets into account. Within the 181 battles our Squirtle had taken part in, our win rate was a whopping 61% with 110 wins, and our loss rate was 39% with 71 losses. We also made sure to assign an arbitrary ELO score rating system to give us another metric to rank our champions. All Pokemon start with a score of 500, just to make it simple. Our Squirtle at the end has an ELO score of 3,501. I was using the website Omni Calculator, I think it's called. It's ELO score calculator to keep track. Overall, I say Squirtle did pretty well, and I honestly don't think I could have done any better in this run, but who knows, maybe you who are watching think you can do better. Well, this is my challenge to you. Try a Squirtle only run, post your time in the comments below. If you want, join my Discord channel, links in the description, and post your videos and stuff to show your attempt. Even failed attempts and together, you can comment below or in the Patreon chat or in the Discord server which Pokemon to do next. Stay tuned for more in the future, Pokemon fans, and I'll see you next time.